Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kyah and you're watching Coming Full Circle with Kyah. If you're a returning subscriber, thanks for keeping it within the family. If you are new to this channel, whether YouTube threw me into your recommended videos to watch or the topic of this video is something that you've actually been searching for, I appreciate you. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so that you know every time I do post a video. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep this intro pretty short and sweet. I don't know what I want to call this, like my mental health awareness segment slash mindfulness segment, because I feel like the two go hand in hand. I wanted to showcase what it is really like and how different your life can be when you're thinking mindfully. So later on in the video, I'm going to show you some things that helped me, as you can see from the title, cope with my anxiety, but also help balance my life when I started thinking mindfully. So you're probably wondering, like, okay, so the title of this video says coping with anxiety. So are you about to just spit some stuff at me about how my life can be better? Or are you really someone who could relate to me? When you come to this channel, I want you to get a real authentic vibe from me. And I feel like the best way to help others is to first explain how it helped myself. I feel like I've been dealing with anxiety for the past 2 to 3 years. I can't put a pinpoint specific mark on the day or the time frame around I feel like the anxiety started kicking in. But when I started noticing it, I was very like almost scared to speak out loud, like, you're having panic attacks, like you have anxiety. And I feel like acceptance in all forms, whether good or bad, is very much needed in order to change one's mindset. So the first year of my anxiety was bad. I was constantly having panic attacks silently. I really didn't tell any of my friends. I mean, y'all watching this now, so now you know. But it wasn't something that I thought like, I mean, I can't be having panic attacks. I feel like I'm a very put together person. I feel like my life's not that crazy. You know, my life was in somewhat of shambles back then, but I feel like it wasn't to the point where anxiety would have developed. So in the past recent months, my life has been doing almost like a whole big 360, and it started bringing back up panic attacks and my anxiety somewhat worsened. So I needed to figure out a way to cope with my anxiety. Now, I know everyone's different. Not everyone has the same method or way for coping with anxiety. Some people prefer to talk to people. They like relating to people, like right now, that can give them what they want to hear, that are helping them calm themselves down. Other people are more receptive with alone time. They like thinking through their thoughts, or they've come up with different breathing exercises that can help them in that moment. Regardless if you're having anxiety attacks, panic attacks, you're depressed, you're thinking of suicidal thoughts, the person behind like those emotions has to be ready to accept the fact that what they're going through is okay. It's not something that I want to say is normal, because in my opinion, I don't want to go through my life thinking about like negative things or worrying myself. I feel like the body is supposed to be a healthy, positive spirit. If you don't first accept what you can't change or think about ways you can change something that may not be so positive in your life, all the positive inputs that may be going through someone's head could just go in one ear and out the other. So I feel like each person has to discover what helps make them happy and really pinpoint that moment in time and transition it into something positive that can help someone when they're dealing with anxiety. For me, anxiety comes in many forms. Maybe that'll be another topic for another video. However, I found recently I've began journaling, and I've never been a writer. I used to read books a lot. My mother, when me and my sister were smaller, used to have us read books and write essays about every week or so, just to keep our minds fresh. And I must say that over the years, I'm quite ashamed of how little books I have read that were not required for schooling. So that'd be high school or college. But I'm basically just explaining how I feel like I almost lost myself. There was like a disconnect. And in order to rejuvenate myself and come full circle with myself, I'm going back to things that made me happy at one time. I recently went to Five Below. I'm not sure if everyone has a Five Below around you, but I went to my local Five Below and I was just perusing. You know, when you go on Five Below, you're looking for everything you do and do not need. I'm usually in there because I don't need anything and I was bored. So I'm just in my Five Below recently, and then I ended up coming across these books, and they were very powerful to me just looking at the covers and flipping through. Now, these books were $5 where I purchased them. However, I'm not sure if every Five Below is set up the same. I know the two in my area are definitely not the same. So if you're interested in any of these books, I will leave the titles down below and a few places that you can get them. I did do some pre-research and I found that you can get some of these books on like Amazon, the author's actual website, Barnes and Noble, places like that. So again, I've never been a writer or a journaler, but I want this year to be about growth. And in turn, I feel like these 3 books specifically are gonna help challenge me for the better. So if I'm looking down, I have the book in front of me, but the first book I have, it's called Mindful Journaling, and this is what it looks like. It's just blue here, there's a little dolphin, and then here's the back. It's by Tara Wood, and I just love this book from the day I picked it up. In the beginning, she gives you like sort of a preface of how to use this journal, how not to use the journal, how to prepare yourself before you're actually putting yourself in a mindful state. And I feel like being fully aware of yourself in the present moment also helps me cope with my anxiety, because I'm separating my thoughts away from something negative and pushing it into something positive. There's a breathing exercise, which I feel is very helpful. Sometimes I write in this book before I do my yoga in the mornings. There's also a cleansing exercise. So usually how I start writing in this journal, I'll just go ahead and flip through and see what catches my eye. Always like a little title exercise of what you must do. And then Tara asks a series of questions to help keep your mind in a mindful state as you write. If you guys are interested in what I wrote, I can come back weekly and just share like my mindfulness exercises for that day. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. It really did help calm me down when I was having an episode of anxiety, and it really put things into perspective. Just the way you speak, the way you breathe holds a lot of weight that sometimes people overlook. And if you're getting caught up in the hustle and bustle of your problems, your job, your spouse, your significant other, what have it, you may forget about taking care of your mind and your soul first before giving away to others. So I really do like this book. Again, I'll go ahead and link down below some websites where you guys can purchase this book. This is something very excellent. I think I'm gonna be featuring these books as maybe like a weekly mindfulness session. If you guys think that's a good idea, go ahead and comment down below. Or if you even think journaling is something that helps you cope with your anxiety, also tell me how you guys cope with anxiety. Again, everyone deals with it different, but I wanna hear you guys' perspective. So I have 2 other books I also got from Five Below that I like journaling in for specific reasons. One is called Write the Story, and this is by Picadilly. And the basis behind this book is you get a title and a series of words that you have to create and write a story about. Now, I really appreciate this book because a majority of the words, I won't say a majority, some of the words within this book I do not know the meaning of. So it forces me to have to Google them. And in turn, I'm already like learning new words while having fun with an exercise. So it doesn't feel like a chore. When I got this book, I was like, what? Like, why don't all of these words like make sense? Why wouldn't you use like words? But the beauty about this book is that you can just let your mind wander. You can write something that either is true, something fictional. It's up to you. Again, it was only $5, so this is another good find. You can get it at your local Five Below, or you can find online somewhere. The last book I have is called The 300 Writing Prompts, and this is also by Picadilly. And there's a website on the back of the book, piccadillyincorporated.com. So if you really wanted to go purchase this book and you couldn't find it for cheap, you can always go to the website, but just do your research first. This book is basically what it says. It's just a writing prompt. It's things to help start a conversation and to make you write. There are a slew of questions, and you only get about like this much of the page, if you can see. Sometimes you get a full page, sometimes you only get half a page. So it really forces you to be mindful about what you're writing about. Write about a time you broke something. Imagine you're planning a trip across the continent on which you live. Assuming you have unlimited time, resources, and energy, what will be your mode of transportation? So they're just cool little writing prompts like that, and I really do appreciate this book. I did write some funny and true life instances in this book so far. However, I think my newfound love of writing and expressing myself sometimes when I don't want to communicate to other people has really opened up my eyes into like a whole nother world. These 3 books combined are going to be your best friends when you come to this channel. If anyone's interested in actually getting these books, I can go ahead and start sharing what I'm writing down in them, and we can compare stories. Man, I feel like I talked a lot more than I wanted to.